Hello, my name is Chunfang. I will present our project working together with Lanyin and Runaldo. First of all, allow me to give an overview of our system. Our system has a front end and a back end. Front end is a web application built on the Angular CLI framework. The backend is built by Java Spring Boot framework. We are using MySQL database to persist the data. The backend will provide the service to the front end by RESTful APIs. Therefore, in general, our system is a service-oriented application. Now let's move on to the demo. When you open the system at localhost 4200, it shows the login page. Our system is a multiple user system. Through drop-down menu, you can see there are a couple of roles. You can log in as admin, instructor, or student. As an admin, you don't need to provide user ID. But if you are a student or instructor, you need to provide the correct user ID. So when we try to use the ID2 and log in as instructor, it will show the error message. It says wrong ID2. The reason for that is because when the system starts, our database is empty. So when you put user ID2 and try to log in as instructor, it doesn't work. So let's log in as administrator first. After you log in, you see the welcome page. There are a couple of tabs: System, Academic Report, Data Management System, Instructor, Student, Course Catalog, and also Wiki. Let's click the System. So in the system, there's a Reset button. So what's this reset button do? So when we click it, it will import data from CSV file to our MySQL database. So let's try to do that, and it shows reset the system. Then after we log out, now if we try use the user ID to log in as an instructor, it successfully log into the page. So as an instructor, you have your profile right here with ID2 and the name with Kim and the address, phone number. Since we reset the system, all the higher information and the on-leave information will be removed. And on the bottom, you can also see the instructor list. Now let's go back to the login page and log in as administrator. After login, we go to the instructor tab and we can see the list of all the instructors on the system. They shows the profile and the status. There's a column called also student. With set as false, that means it's only role as an instructor. But if it says true, that means he could be a student and he could be a instructor. So let's go to the student. So for user ID Robert, we can see it also shows also a student. So now let's try login user ID 4 as instructor. We can do that. And if we log in user ID 4 as a student, we can do that. But let's see a different student, which is with ID 9 and name Gary. And it's not a instructor. And also we cannot find Gary on the instructor list. So if we try to log in Gary as an instructor, it will pop up an error message. But if we log in Gary as a student, then it shows Gary's profile and also shows a student list with all the student ID and the name. So after login, there are 3 pages. Let me introduce their operation and views of data. Let's start as admin. Our system assumes there's only one admin with the user ID 1, so he can log in with or without user ID. So in the system time, after login, there are two buttons. The bottom one is to reset the system. This button has two modes, initial and resume mode. We have shown the initial mode when we introduce login page. Basically, it will load data from CSV file to our database after we start the system. The other mode is the resume mode. Suppose we do some change to our system. For example, we add a course. So after we add the course, it will show in the course catalog with ID 31. Then we go back to system, click the reset the system. It will pop up say the resetted the system. After it, we go back to course catalog. We can see the changed Java course was resetted. So basically this button resume mode 2 is remove all data in MySQL and populate the data from CSV file again. There's another button called Next Term, which allows the administrator to move to next semester by click one button. Our system assumes fall 2017 is the start term. So when you click next term, go to the winter, spring, summer, then go to the next year, fall 2018. So you can reset the system. It will always go back to this start term. Next, let's look at our data management tabs for instructors, students, and the course. I click the instructor tabs. This page shows a list of instructors with their profile information and also instructor status, whether he is hired, on leave, or whether he is also a student. On this page, admin could view the profile, add a new instructor, update the instructor profile, and change instructor status, such the hiring information. We click the Add Instructor button, add the name, address, phone number, and the hiring information. Select hiring only. Okay, just yes. Then we click Submit. Then we can see this instructor was added and he's on leave. He's also a student. Our system would automatically generate a unique value as his default ID. So for Mac, his ID is 28. You can also edit his information by clicking the Edit. So you can add the last name, the address information, maybe change her phone number. Maybe you can hire him, and then he's not on leave. Then keep he's still a student. After we submit, we can see the name, the address, and the phone number, and the hiring information and leave information are changed. So for convenience, you can also click hire directly. Maybe we'll hire Kim directly. So before we click button, the hire is 0, which means it's false. Then we click the button. So the pop-up says it hired the instructor too. Then we can see the information was changed. So we click the Student tab, so we can see a similar table with all the students' information, either with a unique ID and also the profile information. There's also a column for us to see whether the students are also an instructor. So you can also add a student and update the student information. So let's add a student. The phone number, also instructor, then put no. I will submit. It generate a unique ID for Cindy, and its address is here, and the phone number, and also it's not the instructor as we said it. You can also edit their information, edit its name, address, and phone number. Maybe you can change her as an instructor too. After click submit, we can see the name, address, phone number, and the status of changed. So when we go back to instructor, we can, since Cindy is also has both student and the instructor, so you can find her information as an instructor too. We can also edit Cindy information here. For example, we just change it to the 24 Park Avenue address, and then we submit. So now the address changed in the instructor page. When we go to the student page, we can see the address is also updated. And the ID for the Mac and the Cindy won't change when you edit the profile information. Now we open two browsers to explain our instructor and the student page. On the left browser, we log in as an administrator. Let's go to the system, reset the system, click OK. Then we go to instructor. So on the instructor table, hired and on leave are set to 0 by default. Since no instructor is hired, so instructor cannot choose to teach a course. Then we go to the red browser. Red browser login as instructor. So you can see the instructor ID, name, address, phone number, and the head is 0, on leave is 0. In the middle is result table for the wait list. On the bottom of the page is instructor list. This is only for debug convenience. Then we go to the teach course. There's a now teaching table. Right now it's empty. If we choose course to teach, then it will show the error message. The instructor 2 is not hired currently, so it cannot really choose to teach a course. So let's go back to administrator page and click hire instructor 2. So it shows instructor was hired, and the status of the hire is changed to 1. And let's go back to instructor page. So for the instructor 2, now the hired is changed to 1. And go to the teach course page. Now we can choose teach a course. So it shows successfully assigned instructor 2 to course 2. Click OK. And the now teaching table is updated with the course name and also the available seats. So our system automatically assigns 3 seats to each course. Now let's go to the administrator browser. Go to the system, reset system. This is just for the convenience of the showing the data. Let's go to the student. So we choose a couple students and open their page. So we choose the students 14, 15, and 16. So on the student page, it shows the student unique user ID, name, address, phone number, and also the student list. So it could request a course, but right now the system just initial and no instructor is hired, so all the course capacity will be 0. So if we're trying to enroll for course ID number 2, it will show not enough seat added to the waiting list. So let's see the waiting list. Yes, here it is. The course name is on the wait list, and it has the priority number 1, and its academic record didn't show this course. So let's go back to the administrator page and hire instructor ID number 2 to teach the course. So the instructor was hired. Now let's go to the instructor page from ID number 2. It shows hired. Let's make sure it's a current information. Yes. And then choose teach course. And then it shows successfully choose to teach a course. But there's a little different. A couple minutes ago, I showed there are 3 available seats because our system automatically assigns 3 seats for each course. But right now, because there are students on the wait list, so the available seat only remaining 2. Now let's go to the student 14 who is on the wait list. Now he can request the course again. So now he successfully enrolled the course. Let's go to the waiting list. This course is removed from his wait list, and it shows on the academic record. Now let's open another browser and log in as a student with the ID number 15. And the number 15 have no course register, no wait list, and we can request the same course. Number 2, and then submit. Says enroll successfully of course 2. And it shows in the academic record. And when we go to the instructor page, we can see the available seat change from 2 to 1. Now let's go back to admin page. Let's see the report. So the report basically gives all the information about the instructor, student, and the course. So let's select instructor 3, and then it has none. But if we choose instructor ID 2, which is a teaching course number 2, computers programming, and it will show in the report too. And the student report, let's choose the student 14. And here's the student's information, and it also showed a table with the course he enrolled. Now let's see the course report. We choose the course number ID 2, and we can see the capacity is 1. And the enrolled students has a table with the student's name. The grade is not assigned yet. Now let's go to the instructor page to assign a grade. So we can choose a computer programming, and it shows the students who enrolled this course, and we can choose student's name and give a grade and give a comment. Then we can assign the grade. It shows a grade assigned successfully. So let's go back to the student. Then we see the academic record. It shows the grade A. And then let's go to the report. When we refresh the page and choose the course report, and it shows the student get the grade A. Now Now let's go to the admin system, and we select the next term from 2017 fall, go to the 2017 winter. Let's see the grade of the student. It should student ID 14 still get a grade A, and let's see the student ID 15. Since the instructor didn't assign a grade, so the grade shows as incomplete. So we go to from the next term, go to the spring, summer, and let's go to the instructor page. So for the instructor 2 is still hired because going to the new semester, the hiring status don't change, but the teaching set information will be dropped, and but he still can apply to teaching a course. Let's teach this course. So it's a successful assigned. So for student 14 now, if he already got a grade A for this course for the fall 2017, and later request the course again, it says you already passed this course, so this course is not added to the waitlist, not to go to the academic record. But if we go to the student 15, who get incomplete grade, and let's request course number 2. Our submit is enroll successfully for course 2. And let's go to academic record. And now the student 15 enrolled to the computer programming again. Now let's go to the admin page, report, and let's see the course, computer programming. And for the current semester, it shows the James without grade assigned. Let's assign the grade for the computer programming for student James with grade B, and says good. And after we assign our grade, let's receive the report. Now the student has grade B. Let's go back to the student, refresh, and it get a grade B for this course. Let's keep going to the next term, so maybe 4, and then the instructor still hired. Let's choose another course to teach, maybe data structure. It's not offering. Be next term. Okay, let's see the summer. So now you successfully assigned the instructor 2 to the course 5. And let's students 14. So currently it already got a grade A for the computer programming. Let's request course 5. So enrolled successfully. And we see the academic record with data structure. Now let's go to the instructor and assign the grade for the course. If we give grade C and then assign the grade assigned successfully. Let's go to student 14 and the academic record, refresh the page. We can see the current terms grade C and also the previous grade A for the computer programming. Now let's open another student browser. It log in with a student with ID 24, and there's no course and waitlist right now. Let's register course number 2. Before that, let's look at how many seats available right now. So there are 1 seat available. So let's submit. So it's enrolled the course successfully. And let's refresh the table of the instructor, and we can see the available seat is 0. So let's log out and register with another student, 22, and make sure it's not register any course, and let's register course number 2 again. So it shows not enough seats added to wait list. So let's go to see the wait list, and it shows he's on the wait list, so it's a priority number 1. And let's see the available seat here. It shows -1. Waitlist table shows waitlist size is 1, and the course report shows the capacity -1, and the teaching course table shows the available seat -1. 3 of them suggest there's one student on the waitlist. The last tab on the admin is WECA. So in WECA section, we are trying to identify the association between courses. Based on what previous courses have been taken, system is going to predict which courses are likely to be taken in the future. After feeding bunch of course data and student request data to the system, the output is shown on this page. The best rule are found as this. If a student did not request data structure, is more likely to request computer programming, or some other rules like he's not taking data structure or not taking relational database. He will taking operating system. So that's all about our project. Thank you.